Okay, so when we left off, we had just created this injury cat variable, right? So whether it had 0 injuries, 1 injury, or greater than 1 injury. And we had created a sequence, right, ID2. And ID2 was the observation sequence from the most likely to have an event to the least likely. And so we created a downward sequence. Let's create our dependent variable. Before we do that, let's do it one more time. I always like to make sure that we do it. The categories, in order to do these panels, you have to sort them by the way that you want the panels to show up. So sort from 0, sort ascending on the injury cat. And then let's go and do our legacy dialogues. Go into graphs, legacy dialogues. We're going to scatter dot. Going into simple scatter, and we're going to define. Let me reset this so that you know exactly what we're going to do. On the y-axis, we're going to actually do the observation sequence, that observation sequence, ID2, that we created. On the x-axis, and then flip this around so that it would be more consistent with the histograms for the event counts that we look at. The x-axis here, we're going to do the predicted number of events, and we're going to do columns by our firefighter injury category. So it creates a nice plot that panels in the different observations, which is a nice way to look at it. Okay, so let me click on this and we'll open it up a little bit and I'll show you what we got here. So essentially what it did is it created this observation sequence from least likely to have an event to most likely to have an event, and then it paneled it for observed variance on the dependent variable. So those with no injuries, see we have a real heavy distribution, and then it comes down here. And the model does predict that we should have some episodes or some observations with events that we don't actually have an injury. That's a good thing, right? Then we'll see the predictive ability of the model. You get to those observations with at least 1 injury, right, or with exactly 1 injury, and you'll see that it's further down, right? It's in the more likely to have an injury, and it kind of bends this arrow and goes into here, and so that shows you kind of the predictive probability of the model. The last one you see, these get a couple of them here, but the real ones start to here and then they bend out, and so this again is showing us the predicted aspects of the model. Here, what I would say looking at this is we still have a rare event. The 0 inflated negative binomial helped us improve our model, but we would need to include some other more robust variables in order to start predicting these events. So we would need not only the actions taken, but we'd need a series of other hypothetical explanations that would help us improve the prediction of our overall estimates. But for right now, this is good. Let's make it pretty. So double click on it. Let's do the chart size. Let's click off maintain aspect ratio. Let's do 300. Let's do 600. Click apply. So that gets us a kind of broader menu. That's pretty good. While this is up here, let's see if I can do that. Sometimes I should be able to, yeah, that'll work. Let me clear this corner. I like to give it a little bit of space on this other one. I also like to put in a reference line. So let's do a reference line at 0. And I think this reference line is useful because you can kind of see, when you get down here, you see this is really telling you the fit. This is where we move off of 0 and start turning this corner. And so that's really the predictive aspect of the model. Here we see it, we're starting to get off of 0 here, and we're predicted out here. And again, we still have a lot of events where we should have anticipated possible injuries, right? But they didn't happen, and that's a good thing. Observation sequence, least likely. These are pretty good. Let's see if we can work with these a little bit. These are a little small, so let's make them 10, and let's make them actually cancel. I wonder if I can do this. Let's do this one. Click on it once. Click on it again. Now, it won't let us do it. Damn. What would be nice is if you could do these zeros, these X's, and these stars, but I don't think I can do it that way. So we'll have to just create the type, and we'll just, we'll keep them as zeros. Maybe we'll do X's, and we'll do 12s. And then we'll just apply them. Okay? And that works okay. It kind of moves it off, and so we're all good. Okay. Not bad. Now, the last thing, observation, we probably need to do a little bit better on this. Sequenced. Yeah, that doesn't look like. Maybe I'll get rid of. Okay. Observation, most to least likely. All right, so these are the least likely. These are the most likely. And as we get down here, the most likely are turning that corner. So if we think about the histogram, this would be that big category for 0. These would be the 1 categories. So you see that we would go a big difference between 0 and 1. These actually aren't bad. Yeah, these are fine. I think that's not a bad plot, and we can use it to talk a little bit about the model. Model fit. We need some more prediction, but at least we seem to be cutting. These most significant are the ones where we have 1 injury, and then these we have a little bit more. Okay, good. Let's close that down. I am going to click on this. I'm going to right click. I'm going to export it. I'm going to do selected. I'm going to do none graphics only. I'm going to go to a ping file. I'm going to browse to my desktop. And I'm going to say predicted events. Save that. Click OK. You can save this one if you like. So we could go up there and say File, Save As. Let's just do this as Project 3, version 303. And I'm going to go and save my SPSS file. I'm going to save this as, actually, make sure I do it right. I'll go up here, click on the data one. I'm going to save this one as, I'll do POLS 6123 project 3 version 303. Save it and close it. File, quit SPSS. Yes, save both of them. Okay. And I must have saved that in that project somewhere. So I'm not sure where it actually did them. Okay, so that completes our results. We should have out here, you know what it did? Here, let me find it. It's on my documents, I think. Yeah, so here is my data file. Here is my SPV file, and here is my PNG file. So we should be, let's see if I can pull that one up. Okay, good. We'll be able to import that next. All right, great. Those are the main lessons that we'll need for the assignment. The last thing I'll do is I'll show you to kind of put what in where as far as the template. Okay, great.